Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Reine Des Fleurs. We are talking to all of the knights, seeing how they feel about our first grace transference. We're seeing about the state of everybody's lands to see who is most suitable to contribute grace to Chrysantheme, because Chrysantheme really needs grace very badly, or it's on the verge of, self-destructing. Belay is the obvious option, but we may decide otherwise after talking to everybody. So let's see what Louis has to say now. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. The current state of Campagnole, Louis.
Seeing my condition, Campagnole has not really been affected yet. However, that fake peace will collapse eventually.
What do you mean exactly?
In my country, an unnatural problem is more serious than a natural problem. For instance, a riot started by the lowest stratum of society because of their discontent. Campagnole is a disparate society, so there will always be discontent somewhere in people's minds. And it's only gotten worse in the last few years.
Riots.
I'm sure you've never seen such a thing here, but on the land it's quite common. In a year with a good harvest, things are usually fine, but obviously things are worse in years with poor harvests. How will it be this year? Nobody knows.
Depending on how I distribute the grace, a conflict can be generated among the town of Vita, not just disaster or starvation. What should I do about the life that will be lost?
Violet, when you can't decide, then you can choose to take grace from Campagnole.
What?
Unlike the other knights, who are devoted to their countries, I feel no attachment to mine. So, Princess will feel less guilty.
Louis, are you seriously saying this?
I am serious. To me, your peace of mind is more important than my country.
Well, in a way that's sweet, but it's also kind of heartless because he doesn't care about all the people that will suffer because of it. But he'll suffer too, because if the grace is going to be removed from him, he's going to feel that pain. I appreciate his willingness, but is this really all right? Not really. The current state of Chrysantheme, Gislan. Oh, Gislan. You look quite ill, Gislan. Is it because your body is being affected by the link to your country?
Yes, Chrysantheme has always suffered from a lack of grace. The sheer number of problems and the severity of them is far beyond the other countries.
Can you give me more details about that? If you are not well, then you don't have to.
It's all right. I was going to tell you anyway. First, there are the droughts that have always plagued Chrysantheme, leaving vast amounts of wasteland. There are no rivers or lakes, thus, a great number of people die in the years when there is less rain.
They don't have any irrigation? If water is scarce, then wouldn't food be difficult to obtain?
Yes, exactly. That is next on the list. Starvation. The land is already not ideal for farming, so we have been trading with other countries for food. However, if the main trader of Campagnole has a light harvest, then my country will be the first one to be affected.
So basically, if they take grace from Campagnole, then that will often make Chrysantheme suffer too. Well, that sucks.
It is very unpleasant. I hope that no unnecessary bloodshed will occur over it.
What do you mean?
Are you familiar with the term civil war?
Apparently she is. Or maybe she's just familiar with war.
The country has been strictly managed by the army ever since the country was unified. However, there are still small tribes in the rural areas that rebel. If all of them banded together to invade the imperial capital and start a revolution, we can conclude that the very existence of Chrysantheme will face imminent danger. There are signs of that already.
Gislan.
To be honest, it is too difficult for them to overcome this crisis on their own. After I was connected to my ring, I realized that the problem could not be solved by willpower alone.
Wow, that's a lot for him to admit with his great pride as a man of Chrysantheme. Apparently he felt they didn't need grace at all. Now he changed his mind. That's really saying something.
Thus, there is only one thing I can say as the Knight of Chrysantheme. I call upon the goddess for protection. Please.
Yes, as a Reine, I promise you that I will do what I can. The state of Valais, Orpheus.
I know that Valais is probably blessed compared to the other countries. Seeing the other knights now made me realize that. As expected, Valais will be the source of grace.
I can't answer that yet. After hearing everyone's opinion, then I will make the final decision. If grace is taken from Valais, what kind of effects can be expected?
Well, natural disasters would be more dangerous for the country than a depletion of resources. Especially flood damage, which occurs every year and kills many people.
Yeah, with as many rivers as they have, I would definitely imagine flooding occurs often.
Thinking of that getting worse, honestly, it makes me shudder. There is also a dormant volcano that should become active again soon.
This place, where grace is relatively stable, still has such disasters.
Yet, those things are not threatening to plunge the country into crisis yet. So, when it comes down to it...
It seems like this may be the only way.
Don't give me that look, Violet.
What?
I am prepared since I heard things from Asagi. I will obey your decision as a knight. I believe in you as my Reine, Violet.
Orpheus.
So please, make whatever decision is best. You are kind, so I know that you will think about everyone's pain. But we have to go through so many things to keep from breaking your heart.
Orpheus.
I'm sorry, I may have said something thoughtless.
I don't quite understand. Was he saying like it's a pain in the butt, sparing her feelings? That's kind of what it sounded like to me, but I don't think he quite meant it that way. No, not at all. Thank you for your concern. He is right. I must remain calm and avoid letting my emotions overtake me. I have heard everyone's opinion. Each country has its own dangers, as I expected. I have to balance grace considering all of those. Which information do I want to use? All of it! All four of you. Hi, that is what I want. It is about time for me to make a decision. I cannot postpone this any longer. Let me go over their opinions once more, then I should finalize my plans. I should come up with the best solution to this situation as Reine. Ravia time! Here we go. Ravia with myself. I'm fighting myself in my head. Considering everything, Chrysantheme's lack of grace has priority over all. Considering the lack of water that could lead to a civil war, the nation could collapse at any moment. I can easily imagine that, given the number of troubling factors. And more importantly,
thus, there is only one thing I can say as the Knight of Chrysantheme. I call upon the goddess for protection.
He looked really pained. Well, he must be feeling frustrated. This proud man, begging for help from the goddess. Yeah, that probably really hurt his pride. That indicates just how tense the situation is. So, the problem is the source of the grace. From which country should I take it? As Hubert says, I should take it from Valais, which has a surplus. But natural disasters can be expected in Valais, serious ones. He told me that he is prepared for it, but he must be worried to death as he really loves his country. Even if there is a surplus, the country will definitely be affected by drawing grace. The people in his land would suffer, and they would die in the worst ways. Worse than ways in other countries, really? That would not be alright for him. But that goes for the other countries as well. Should I think about the amount of grace, or should I think of it another way? I must think carefully before deciding. I should take the grace for Chrysantheme from another country, not Valais, which was the other option. I understand that it would be best to take grace from Valais since it has more, but I just can't do that. I can't get Orpheus's sad face out of my head. I feel like I don't want to cause him to make that face again. So, if not from Valais, then 2 countries are left as options. Pavone or Campanule. A cold wave will soon be coming to Pavone. But Leon told me that he will accept my decision, whatever it may be. The underlying issue with Campanule is the possibility of the poor rioting. But Louis said if I am confused, then I should choose Campanule. Neither country is having serious issues at the moment, but they are both vulnerable. Which one should I choose? We are choosing Pavone, because that is the choice we must make for Leon's route. But really, I don't like this whole showing favoritism towards Orpheus. I mean, I like Orpheus, but I feel like, although we're going on Leon's route, we're still being favoritist towards Orpheus. By like, we don't want to make him sad, so we don't really want to choose him. What about Leon? We don't want to make Leon sad either, right? I will rely on Leon this time. He will understand my decision. But he will suffer as anyone would. I wonder if I can rely on his trust. My mind, which I thought was settled, begins to sway again. No, I must not doubt myself. It is my responsibility as Reine to make a decision. Buttons. X. Sometimes I just freak out and my hands go all weird. I made up my mind. I will stick to it. Sticking to my guns. And that is all that we have for this video. It's like there's no right decision though. Whoever we take grace from, they're gonna suffer no matter what. There's not much that we can do about it. Well, Leon, you are first on the chopping block. Why do we have to make the one we love suffer? But we do for some reason. Maybe his reaction endears him to us and that's how we progress on his route. Alright, well it's time for our Japanese words for the day. I've got 4 of them for you. Koroshiya is a professional killer, like a hired killer. I learned that from like Ichi the Killer, because he was, the Japanese title was like Koroshiya Ichi or something like that. And Satsujin is murderer. And in contrast with these killers, criminals, Keisatsu is police, and Tante is detective. So, Koroshiya is professional killer, Satsujin is murderer, Keisatsu is police, and Tante is detective. So that's 4 words for you today. I felt like they should all be grouped together. Alright, well, I hope to see you in my future videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye, everybody.